better than probably going off and...
Kilroy.
Hello and good morning. We all like to be healthy, don't we? Of course we do. Sound in body and in mind. But when things go wrong, who do you call? A doctor or a healer? As you know, as we all know, the former England soccer manager Glenn Hoddle was ridiculed for his dependence on Eileen Drury. But that hasn't stopped thousands of people just like me and you putting their faith in healing. Yeah, but the question is, does it work? Does it work, Rita?
I think so.
Why?
I've had traditional medicine all my life. I've been a medical wonder from being born. And throughout my life I've had operations after operation. And
what for?
For the removal of tumours. And consequently I now have osteoporosis. I have several other things which is very complicated, which I wouldn't like to bore you with. However, the doctors have said, quote and unquote, that there is no modern technology to help me now. And I have been given painkillers, and I go for regular visits for scans, and I see a professor, I say hello, we have a chat, and that's it. That is the procedure. And I've had to seek alternative medicine.
What pain are you in?
I'm in a lot of pain. I can't walk.
Yeah. Permanently in pain?
Permanently. My whole body sort of, you know, my knees will shake going sort of like up and down stairs, and they'll give way. I've got tumours in my arm that was supposed to be removed last year, and I had a lot of pain, I wanted to, you know, painkillers, Zydol and all the pethidine doesn't matter. You know, if you're in pain and it's throbbing then and it hurts.
So in desperation you went to see Debbie and Maria?
Yeah, my mother found out that there was there's only a couple of psychic surgeons in the country, and one of the places was Yanti in Bury, and that was the nearest to me. And I started going there once a week, and eventually I started to smile and pain was reduced. It's reduced a little bit on the scan. Obviously it's not gone down totally, and it does trouble me when I overdo it, but obviously I can cope with the pain.
So how long have you been going now? To
I've
see
been
Debbie
going
and...
for
18 months.
Yeah.
18 months?
Yeah.
And remind me, I'm sorry, how often do you go?
I go once a week.
Once a week for how long?
For an hour. And then I go to meditations and for treatment.
And you say that has perceptibly reduced
if I don't go for an hour, I'm ratty. I have the 3 days that I have in bed a week will be totally in bed. I have bad days anyway.
So they work these two?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Without any doubt?
Without any doubt.
Better than your chats with your professor?
My doctors don't know diddly-do. You
if you had a
really
diddly-do?
Diddly-do.
If you had a choice between the two, who are you going to see?
I would go, yeah. I would have rather have not gone to surgery. I've had, you know, my body's like a zip, opened up here and there, and it looks a mess, yeah. These guys don't leave scars.
What do these guys do then? What do you do?
Basically we do healing, different people with a range of different illnesses come along.
But what do you actually do? She comes along to you, take us through it, what do you do to Rita?
Basically, first of all, before she even comes, we create an atmosphere with candles, with music, create a relaxing atmosphere. And then we have like a therapy bed, we lie the patient on the bed, get
the two of you do this?
Yeah, the two of us.
It's necessary for the two of you to do it?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
It's a lot better for the energies. Because when we're doing healing, we tune into the light of God and all of Christ's energies and the golden lights and the golden ray. And the form of healing we do, we actually use both cycles. We use the laws of creation, the elements of nature. So as well as tuning in to the light of God, the energy of Christ, we're connecting with the earth's energies as well.
How do you do all that?
Well, first of all, anybody can do this. If all of you here today just took 2 minutes of your time.
Go on, what do you
Just
do?
to sort of close your eyes, breathe in that light.
Close your eyes. No, seriously, go on then. Go along. As Maria tells you, do it. Close your eyes. Go on. Everybody's closing their eyes. Close your eyes, doctor. I'm watching you. Go on.
That light of God is there for everybody. You are part of God. You are part of Christ. You are part of all the angels. You are part of all of creation. And you are also part of the earth. All of nature you're a part of. Every single flower, every tree, every leaf. You are part of all this. If you just breathe that light in of God and visualised it coming down over you, filling the whole of your being, going right down through your legs, through your feet, and rooting into the earth's energies. And as you spread that light all around the earth, you go right back up again through God like a never-ending cycle. And that light is a universal light, which is there for all of us to use. If all of us just spent 2 minutes a day, what a wonderful world it would be.
Well, what did that achieve?
If
Did you feel, don't you?
Didn't do anything for me, I have to say. I mean, it was quite relaxing.
Did the earth not move for you, Ellen?
No, I nearly fell asleep.
Okay, hang on.
I mean,
it
is relaxing, and I don't dispute that you find that helpful.
There were some people not playing the game with you, though. I looked around, I noticed the one or two who didn't have
I had
you had your eyes closed,
and
doctor.
I felt the lights of the studio.
Did you feel it? What is this? But you said this is energy.
Everybody.
It's chi and energy.
The universal mind.
But when you've done all that, how do you use that then? Did anybody feel anything, by the way?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you did. Oh, you would. You're a healer. But you. Okay. But nobody. None of, and you kept your eyes open all the time, Dorothy. I noticed. All right. So you're another skeptic, clearly. Did you feel anything, Anne? No, you. Bit sleepy and relaxed. It was a nice atmosphere. But we were all together as a group. There's a community feeling, wasn't it? Because we were all quite genuinely joining in something, which you do. But assuming we all felt something, how do you then direct that towards Rita and, if not cure
tune into
her,
this
help?
light, right.
Pardon?
I tune into this light, and like I said, I'm bringing it right through all my body, tuning into the earth's energy, the angels and everybody. And every pour through my body of energy will pour through Rita. And at the same time as I am doing that, I am also pouring it around the earth and helping the earth.
You're obviously very sceptical about this, Dorothy, because you refuse to close your eyes and play the game.
Say you said you'd go to a healer instead of a doctor. Say you'd gone, would you be alive now if you hadn't gone to any doctors?
That's the reason why I'm like I am, because I've gone to medical science. Medical science have cut me up. They've put me on drugs that I've got to live on now. Every day I've got a pile of drugs that I have to take. I don't enjoy taking them drugs because I've got loads and loads of side effects. I've put 2 stone on since Christmas. You know, I've had to borrow my sister's clothes. It's not on. The life is just not.
But what if you'd never ever gone to a doctor?
I'd be dead and I'd be in heaven and I'd be flying on horses and I'd have, you know, there's no pain up there.
But
and I wouldn't be going through what I'm going
I'm
through
not
now.
sure that's the best selling point for healers. if you don't go to conventional medicine, you'd be dead but happy. I'd rather be
on a horse. I don't know where the horse is coming.
than
well, we're talking politics now. Politics has got nothing to do with
the point
life.
is, you see, that obviously you feel better from what they do, and no one can deny you that experience, and I wouldn't challenge that, but what I find difficult is the explanation that they give. They're entitled to do it, but it's not credible. We have enough difficulty believing politicians, but if I went up for election saying we're going to solve the economy through angels, I'd be laughed out of court even more than politicians are already.
It's not a joke, is it?
I just want to say...
Before doctors came along, what was there? Before time began.
Well, there were always people with herbal remedies, many of which are based on drugs.
There was some kind of healing ability.
Well, there's always been... It's interesting that people, as far as their own health is concerned, because we don't understand, and even doctors don't understand how our bodies work, are always prepared to look for supernatural reasons for why things happen. And that can help people, just like having half an hour or an hour if I went to see my doctor and had an hour with them and was paying £40, I would probably feel a lot better than the 5-minute prescription.
No money changes hands.
No money changes hands. No, we're not talking about money.
Okay. Do you
There is money.
I know there is money, but it's not about money.
You closed your eyes.
Yeah,
Did you feel anything?
I come here with a sceptical opinion. Maybe sort of, can these people change my mind and make me think that what they do is right? I mean, closing my eyes, all I really saw was the redness from the light showing in them. I didn't have any sort of feelings come over me. I didn't see a little angel flutter inside my eyelids and say, hey, look,
But just
man,
give us
this
the
is
chance,
right and
though.
this
You
is the
come
way."
into our
I'm not taking
environment, you
against
just
what
give
you
us a
think
chance.
that you know is right. But I mean,
Can I just say,
What do you mean coming to your
realistically,
environment, give
is
us
it-
a chance? What do you
we
mean?
work on a vibration of love, unconditional love, right? Our guides and angels, masters, light of God, they communicate it through us as a channel. We are the channel. Now, when you
Why
go
have they
anywhere...
chosen you?
Pardon?
Why have they chosen
Because
you?
we learned over the years to raise our vibrations to that light and tune into the truth.
Where
We
did
search
you
for
get
the
that
truth.
insight? Who told you how to do? Who gave you that insight?
It is natural. It is natural. Everybody can
Anybody
heal.
can be a channel.
Anybody can be a channel, and everybody's got it if they just tuned into that universal mind, that universal light.
There is a psychological component to every illness, and the way that people perceive their illness, the way they deal with their illness, largely depends often how they're feeling and their mood at that
That's
particular
correct.
time. If I could spend half an hour with every one of my NHS patients, I'm sure that a lot of them would feel an awful lot better. I'd be able to give a lot more time to them, address other problems, address a lot of their concerns in a way that working as a busy GP doesn't allow one to do. And so often people will turn to people like yourselves because they want the attention, they want the time, they want the...
We're not saying this as an alternative.
No.
We're saying it's complementary. What you can do, you can do what we can't do. But we can do what you can't do, and both of them
I
together.
don't doubt that you believe that you're communicating with the angels and getting this light through, and
I don't believe, I know.
I don't doubt that you feel better after it, but the one does not cause the other. The fact that I snap my fingers now and it rains in Scarborough doesn't mean that I'm causing it to rain in Scarborough.
You better not be causing it to rain in Scarborough, but you'll be in a lot of trouble, Member of Parliament. You were like I had two doctors, one of whom is also a Member of Parliament. You were scared, but you closed your eyes.
Yep.
Just so we know, did you feel anything?
No, not really.
No, okay, fine. No, but nobody's really expecting you to.
No.
Well, unless Debbie and Maria contradict me, but given the circumstances, it's probably unfair. But you've got something wrong with you, haven't you?
Yeah, I've actually got what they call hiatus, a hernia in my stomach, where certain kind of foods that I eat, it rejects it and refluxes it back up. So.
And you're not getting any treatment for that?
No, I did, but the treatment didn't really work. So
and you'd
I
like
sort of just flagged it away.
Right, and therefore you're up for anything.
Yeah.
You'll try anything that
Yeah.
might take away the ailment and the pain and the discomfort and all the
Yeah.
rest of it. Would you like to have the candles and the music and Maria and Debbie administering to you?
Yeah.
You take a chance on this. Okay, come on then. Chris, ladies, can we have some music, the appropriate music? We're going to do a little experiment. Chris is going to go and lie on the bed. And Debbie and... I notice you got your shoes off. Good man. Lie down there for me. What are you going to do? How long do you need, roughly?
About 15, 20 minutes.
OK, we're going to give you 15, 20 minutes. You go on, do what you do. We'll have little looks at you occasionally. And when you've finished, or if you want to spring up, my friend, and say, Eureka, I'm cured, you do that at any time. You let me know when you're finished, and we'll bring you in and talk about it. But you're also a healer, aren't you, Simon? What do you do?
What do I do? I use all manner of tools and connections with spirit energies. Yet again, I use earth energies, energies of all creation.
What?
Everything has got an energy. Everything has got like a magnetism. We're all energy. If we break everything down, we're atoms and we're all the same. Whether it's trees,
we know
rocks.
all that. But what do you do?
Well, I basically I can either lay my hands on people and focus a healing energy through the hands.
You can actually feel something.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
can feel.
I actually feel like a warmth and a tingling sensation when I'm healing. I also partake in absent healing, which can be purely done through thought or a meditative state, even with a group of people. A meditation circle even, and we can focus on people who may be ill, going through depression. It doesn't have to be a physical ailment, it could be a spiritual ailment, a mental ailment.
And you're one of the patients, Sheila?
Yes, yes. In this instance, I broke my wrist just over a year ago, or about a year ago, and it was healed up pretty well. I'm an aromatherapist, and I'd got the plaster off, and I had done I have a nursing background, and I've also done midwifery, okay? But I went into aromatherapy when I'd been quite ill myself, and discovered it when I went to one of the health clinics and thought, this is what I want for my patients, because it's so nurturing, it's really wonderful. Anyway, so my wrist, I'd done a couple of treatments, and I wasn't happy with it. I knew it wasn't right, and I thought I better not do any more of these treatments because I'm going to make it worse, you know. So I thought I'd go and see my GP, and perhaps he'd get me to see an osteopath or something of that sort. But in the meantime, my friend and I were doing complementary treatments for each other, which I mean she gave me a treatment and I gave her a treatment. We're both aromatherapists. So I went to her house to ask her to give me a treatment. And Simon just happened to be there. I had never met him before. And I was saying, this wrist isn't quite right, you know, I'm a bit worried. I'm not going to be able to do anything else until I'm sure it's okay. And she said, well, you know, I'll give you a treatment. Simon said, do you want me to have a look at it for you, Sheila? So I said, sure, you know, here you go. So he took my hand, and I was just going on talking to my friend, taking not very much notice, you know. And then I began to feel like, you know, and I began to feel, you know, something happening here. And Carol, who is psychic, said to me, oh, goodness, you know, and she held my hand, and because she thought it must be hurting me, but it wasn't hurting me. And I could feel something sort of move within it. I mean, I don't know whether it was a ligament or what it was, but something was out, and I could feel it moving. Simon did a sort of asked me to visualise a figure 8, okay? You know, that eternal sign is what it is on this wrist, and it felt better.
Is it better now?
It is. I've been using it for aromatherapy. I went to see my GP.
Has he cured you?
I think, well, no. I mean, to be fair, my wrist had healed pretty well, but Simon had put it right. He'd put the bit right that wasn't right before.
He'd put it right.
He really had, I'm sure of that.
Your lot had failed.
No, hang on, now hang about it.
She's already admitted that it's already
That's
healed,
quite
basically
enough.
healed. And I think that...
What did you say? I only got the tail. I suddenly feel everybody look at me, all very shocked. What's all this Kilroy, that's enough?
Well, you're sort of saying your lot didn't do anything, and I'm one of their lot.
Oh, right, I'm sorry.
That.
All right, well, your lot and her lot didn't do it.
What I'd like to say to our lot, if you wouldn't mind me saying so, please, is that everyone in the Orthodox I've had my life saved many a time by the Orthodox profession.
Me too.
I've been a nurse. I had an ASD repaired, and after that I did my nursing. I did midwifery. I've worked with wonderful teams in the NHS, and I think the NHS is absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, okay.
I think the doctors are wonderful. What I think is that we...
Come on, I was being
No,
flipping you. No, that lot's my lot. Go on, Anne. What do you think about all this?
But I'm just saying that you're already doing this healing.
I think we're agreeing. I mean, I think you agreed, you said your wrist was healed.
Sure.
And,
So you're saying that Simon didn't do it?
No.
No, I'm not saying that to my doctor.
I think that you get different bits of use back at different times. When you injure your wrist, then you can do different movements. You can turn in different ways or grip things at different levels, and they take different times to recover. And I think, as you said yourself, it's virtually healed. And it's probably very nice to be able to believe that Simon put the icing on the cake, but I believe that was probably there already.
It's icing on the cake, but does he work? That doctor is very sceptical.
Yeah.
It does work. I've had healing. About 10 years ago I'd had an illness. I didn't really know what was the matter with me, and it was eventually diagnosed as ME. I'd been to a natural health clinic, had it diagnosed, and had some help from then. I'd been taking all sorts of tablets from the doctor's surgery. I'd been told, you're a mum, you've got 3 children, you're bound to be tired. I could barely move some days, and it was really bad. And I happened to see a newspaper article, somebody had seen a healer, and I managed to contact this particular healer, and I travelled 40 miles. My then husband took me in the car to see the healer, and he was very sceptical. He'd drive me there, but he wouldn't come in. He sat in the car outside. And I suppose I spent about 15 minutes inside. I'd never seen a healer before. I didn't know what to expect. It was a very small room, just quiet, some nice music playing. Sat on a stool, and he was behind me. He put his hands on my shoulders, on my head, down the back of my spine, and I just felt this incredible heat, this feeling of relaxation. And when I came out and got into the car, my husband looked at me and he said, "I can see something's happened by your eyes. Your eyes look brighter, you look lighter in your face."
Did you feel better?
I felt much better.
And how many times have you been?
I think it was about 10 years ago, it's hard to remember, probably about 6 times. But I feel that what he did for me was unlock something within me.
Just that one occasion?
Yeah.
It was the only time
But
you
that's
went?
the whole point.
That's
No, I went a few times after.
Anne?
That's the whole point about ME. A lot of the cynics would say it's totally in the mind. I think the Royal College of Physicians, Royal College of Psychiatrists issued a joint statement on it a couple of years ago, saying there was a large psychological
I have
component.
had medical tests.
Oh, I'm
blood
sure.
tests which said that they believed I did have ME.
Well, there
virus
isn't
in
really
the
a test for
system.
ME as such. If there's something that's showing up in the test, that suggests that something else may be going on. But there isn't actually a test for ME as such. I mean, ME does have a very large psychological component, and it suggests, you know, that you were in some ways ready to get out of your ME state to actually get better. And a lot of people would argue that a lot of what was limiting you while you had so-called ME was your own attitude towards it.
I can accept part of that, but I do feel that it did help me a great deal because...
Did you help him?
Sorry?
Did
Did I
you?
help? No.
I wasn't married to this.
Oh, right.
man,
Yes.
But I've helped him since. I
Yes.
then became a healer myself about 5 years ago.
And how have you helped?
Well, I'll tell the story. I had a hip replacement last year. I delayed it for about 5 or 6 years because I could cope without it simply because of the help I was receiving from the healing. When I had the operation on a Monday. On a Wednesday, I went to the hospital shop on my own, unaided. This is after a total hip replacement. And I walked out the door on the Friday lunchtime and back to work a week later from a full hip replacement. And that is not normal.
I must
It is
add that
way
other
normal.
people were sending absent healing to Fred as well, as me giving him healing. We
The
had
problem
friends
is
that were
that
sending
I've
him.
got here is a series of anecdotes which are all very interesting, and no one denies that that's your experience. And obviously, if you take a range, there'll be some people who have healing who don't leave hospital at all. They're not here to tell the tale, I have to say, and so we're looking at a bias sample. So even what's going on in another part of the studio with the angels healing, that's not science. Whatever it shows, yes or no, doesn't produce proof. What you have to do is do double-blind experiments where I pretend to be a healer, someone else is a healer, neither of us, the patients don't know which one's the real one, and see if there's any end result. Because
This is science.
Why do you need scientific proof? Why can't people just accept if it works for them, then that's fine?
Because if someone came to me saying, and I know not everyone charges, some people rely on donations, if someone said, give me £100 for 10 days, I would, if we were sold something that wasn't shown to be a proper washing machine, we would object.
We
and therefore,
the scientific proof
do.
he's saying it works. We want to know. It's like a car, isn't it? You buy a car, you want to know it works. You have a television, you want to know it works. You take an aspirin, you want to know it works. If you go to a healer, you want to know it works. That's all that scientific proof is saying.
I'm saying I had scientific proof. I set a record for that particular orthopaedic department for full recovery.
But you were a lot younger than the majority of people who have total hip replacements. The majority of people who have total hip replacements are a lot older. And so on the natural range of recovery, recovery time, your recovery time is going to be
That would be a wonderful answer if it was true.
Well, it is.
No, it isn't. This was a military hospital, mainly dealing with military people.
That's
there were mainly accidents.
And the rest of mainly accidents, but the rest of the rest of the NHS hip replacements usually 70s and 80s. Older
They've got an answer for everything, the scientists, haven't they?
Okay, well, let's look at the scientific facts. Now, around each one of us is an indisputable fact. We all have an aura. And when
that's where you say it's an indisputable fact. Saying it doesn't make it so.
It can be seen, let's say, with a special kind of kaolin photography, where the magnetic field can be transposed into light vibrations, and that can show, and many doctors do have this equipment in their offices at the moment, where they can see if there is a line deviation or something is irregular. They can preempt a problem sometimes.
Have you got evidence of this?
I have a photograph actually.
Or things that have photographs can be doctored.
Yes, they can.
Things
that's true.
that
Okay, well, look at, let's say, the Catholic Church. in Italy, they have a centre where they're now studying healers. They film them while they're working. And when the healers and the one being healed, when the energies balance, the healing, the transfer of energy takes place and the healing takes place. It's being documented by the Vatican. They're very strict. That's one thing.
What do you do?
What do? I work as a healer. I work as a medium and a healer. So during every day of my life, I'm meeting people who have many problems, psychological problems, physical problems.
How do you deal with them? What do you do?
Different in every case, but I always try to tell them to go to their doctors first of all, because that's the first thing with a physical problem. The second one is to look at healing themselves by being positive in their attitude.
I don't want to be rude, but I hope you don't take this as a personal question.
Well,
but I mean, you're wearing very nice jewellery. In fact, all the healers are wearing very nice jewellery. Do you do it for free, or how do you get your income? If you don't mind me asking it.
I don't mind you asking at all. I devote my entire life to working for Spirit, working as a medium, as a counsellor and as a healer. And so, in my case, yes, I do take a payment
That was a
for
below
my
the
work.
belt question.
But only because
I make no apology
my
for it.
only income, and Spirit, the world of Spirit, do not want me to die of starvation or not be able to pay my mortgage.
But why does everything have to come down to money in the end anyway?
If I were rich, I wouldn't accept payment because I wouldn't need to.
What do you do? Because I've got Janet sitting, come along here a bit, because I've got Janet sitting next to you very patiently, who might want something done to her, won't you, Janet?
That's right.
Tell me.
Oh, that gentleman there. I am now at a state in my life where I would try anything to get out of pain. I've lived with pain for over 36 years. I just can't begin. Every part of me hurts.
From what?
Pardon?
What's the ailment, the disease, illness?
My spine is completely gone. I have osteoarthritis. I've had a spinal fusion. I have spondylitis and I have disc on in the neck. I have to wear a brace around the neck. I have it all in my hands and knees. And
You'd like some help?
I do.
Yeah.
I'm told now by the medical people there's no more they can do for me.
OK, what can you do for her?
Well, I personally can do nothing because, as every healer here will appreciate, we have no power of our own. But what I do, I tune in to the universal highest power, to God, and I draw in the energy and the love. Now, everybody can do this at home, here in the studio, and I hope you will, because I'm going to ask you if you'll all join me, and this is the way you do it. You think up to the highest power, to God, you draw in the power, and you think with your mind to your solar plexus, you send the energy from your solar plexus. You do this by taking in a deep breath, and as you let the breath out slowly, so you send the energy. Now you do this for
Which is only one God.
5 or 10 minutes.
Anyway, that's only
It works for it works worldwide for every denomination.
That's rubbish.
Those who don't believe in God. I mean,
God is not biased, I'm afraid. God works for everyone equally.
If you're an atheist, if there are atheists out there, they're going to be unhealed. I mean,
okay, the people that come to me don't always believe. They don't have to believe. It's important that I believe. Right. It's important that they want to be healed. There is no criteria for having to believe.
So, if I left you alone now with Janet here, and you tune into whatever it is, you think you might be able, you're willing to have a crack. And that can't hurt you, can it, Janet? No. Shall I leave you to get on with it?
Leave us to get on.
Or do you want to answer my friend behind me who kept shouting rubbish first, or shall I leave you to get on with it?
I'll answer your friend first and then I'll get on with it, funny.
I didn't shout rubbish throughout it. I did shout rubbish on Kirlian photography, which is, you can take a photo of a can of beans and there's an extra electric all around it, but that's a different thing. Do you make physical changes to people?
I don't, but Spirit do. When trance healers work through me.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, the changes do take place.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you said a child had appendicitis, you wouldn't send them to a doctor, you'd do it yourself?
No, I would send them to the doctor first, and then I would add the healing to speed up the recovery.
That's an interesting one. The other one
slow it down. Yeah. You would never know whether you're actually having an effect, because you're not taking a child who's had an appendix operation, or 50 of them preferably, and not let me have a go at pretending to whatever it is.
But we can't. We've got people here who can do that. You go on with your... listen, I'm on your side. I'm very sceptical about this, but I tell you, if you can do something for Janet, Jen, just do it, all right? Do it. But we've got Glynis. We've got Glynis. Who could do surgery, can't you, Glynis?
No, I can't do surgery.
You've had it done to you?
I've had it done to me.
Oh,
yes.
Tell me what you had done to you.
I had a fibroid removed.
By
Rita.
How'd you do it? Because you've now become a healer. And you've got this power of psychic surgery.
It's the way I've been initiated and
Simon, please.
healed, and yeah.
So what did you do to your mum?
Well, I asked for the power, and I asked to see, and what I saw was, well, tanglement really. You see the colours, and what you're initially trying to do is remove the colours and the energies, the bad energies, and release those from the tension really that's around, and removing the pain.
For what do you call it, surgery?
Yes.
No.
It is really. It's a funny thing. I've had surgery.
What, you physically removed this?
That's what I mean. I've been slit open by a knife. I am
But you
now.
slit your mum open how?
Well.
And it came out.
7070, the lovely Alice is here, logging your email, along with Adrian, Beaky, Pat, and the rest of the team. First holiday chart of